Hello and welcome to Arlington Public News. I'm Carla Dorado.
And I'm James Milan. In this edition of Arlington Public News, town officials vote in favor of reopening the Gibbs School instead of adding on to the Ottoson to make more room for more middle schoolers. Town meeting votes to do more to protect trees on private property and approves a new committee to study issues concerning home construction. We'll have a full recap.
And the Regent Theater Turns 100, how they recreated the grand opening complete with a silent movie. That and more coming up next.
Stay with us. Town officials are moving ahead with various plans to deal with growing student enrollments. The Arlington Board of Selectmen voted unanimously to place debt exclusion questions before voters on June 14th. The questions ask residents to approve higher property taxes to address rebuilding the high schools, adding to the Thompson Elementary School, and making room for a growing middle school population, as well as supporting unspecified funds for rebuilding Minuteman High School. Meanwhile, the School Enrollment Task Force voted 7-2 in favor of reopening and remodeling the Gibbs School instead of adding on to the Ottoson Middle School. Here are highlights from the meetings leading up to those decisions. Citing a record of sound fiscal management going back over a number of years and covering several Prop 2.5 overrides, the Board of Selectmen voted unanimously to present 3 debt exclusion questions to the voters on Tuesday, June 14th.
This is one of the bigger decisions that I think this board ever has to make, and it was with a lot of work and a lot of preparation over several years that got us to this place. We rely on our town's past successes and careful financial management. We also rely on our multi-year plan to guide our decisions. With the foundation of our past successes, with careful analysis of the present situation, and with our future plans in mind, we hereby set the date of Tuesday, June 14th, for a town-wide vote on a Proposition 2.5 debt exclusion. The debt so raised shall be used to manage our growth in elementary and middle school enrollment and to prepare our high schools for the future. Specifically, we will, 1, pay for an addition to the Thompson School, approximately $4 million, expand our capacity to educate middle school students, which is not predisposing the answer as to whether it's Gibbs or Ottoson, but $30 to $40 million with more insight we expect to be available on May 2nd from the School Enrollment Task Force. Third, we'll pay for the planning of a new or renovated Arlington High School with cooperation and assistance from the Mass School Building Authority through a feasibility study at a cost of $2 million, and prepare for capital expenses at the Minuteman Vocational High School, either through the currently proposed new building project or the repair projects will be necessary if the new project is not approved by member towns, at a cost of $32 million.
Any further comments? If not, on a motion by Mr. Dunn, seconded by Mr. Curo, motion read by, with one friendly amendment. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, unanimous vote.
The School Enrollment Task Force wrestled with both the educational and the fiscal implications of choosing either to expand facilities at the Ottoson Middle School or reclaim the Gibbs as a school building. The task force is comprised of members of the school committee, the Board of Selectmen, the Finance Committee, and selected town officials. After an exhaustive discussion, the task force voted 7-2 to move forward with reopening and remodeling the Gibbs School.
The school committee is listening to the financial side. I mean, you can be assured that we're listening to the financial side of the equation, and we're taking into serious account everything the educators are saying who are experts on our kids and what's best for 6th graders.
Still pending is the question of whether the Gibbs will be a 6th through 8th grade institution or 6th grade only. In late-breaking news, Belmont Town Meeting voted on May 4th to reject funding a rebuild of the Minuteman High School, effectively scuttling the project for the time being. This makes Arlington's own decision whether to approve a debt exclusion for the Minuteman project effectively a life and death decision for the rebuild. According to Selectman Dan Dunn, who functions as Arlington's liaison within the Minuteman Regional District, a vote on June 14th to approve the debt exclusion will keep the project alive, although it won't guarantee its ultimate survival. A no vote on the debt exclusion, however, will, for all intents and purposes, kill the Minuteman rebuild.
Town meeting held sessions 3 and 4 the first week of May. Members voted no action on several proposed residential zoning bylaws that would regulate the size and scope of new home construction. Town meeting did, however, authorize a new committee to look at housing construction issues to determine if new bylaws should be proposed at next year's town meeting. In a related warrant article, town meeting approved a measure to preserve trees. Trees over a specific size and setback on private property will now be protected in case of significant demolition or major construction. In other environmental news, community choice aggregation was passed with the intention of reducing greenhouse gas emissions. The bylaw calls on the town to contract for the bulk of purchases of electricity that relies on more renewable energy. Town meeting continues the week of May 9th. Tune into ACMi's government channel for full coverage as well as acmi.tv. APN will continue to bring you highlights available at news.acmi.tv.
On a lighter note now, we take a trip back in time. The spirit of 1916 was alive and well at the Regent Theater's Centennial Gala. To celebrate its 100-year anniversary, the Regent hosted a night of entertainment that was a throwback to its grand opening. Members of the community took part in a vaudeville-inspired variety show and screened the Mary Pickford silent film Rags, the same film that the theater originally opened its doors with.
It was 8 p.m. on Monday, April 24th, 1916, and a new theater in town was making its grand opening. On that night, the Regent Theater was in business, becoming the cornerstone of culture and entertainment in Arlington. Back then, tickets were 15 cents. Movies were called photoplays and came on multiple celluloid reels. The musical score was played live right in front of you. But even though 1916 has become 2016 and people have uncountable options available for their sight and sound amusements, this historic theater shows no signs of slowing down.
We are celebrating the Regent Theater's 100th anniversary here in Arlington Center, our Centennial, by recreating our grand opening from April 24th, 1916, with the same silent film that played 100 years ago that night in this very location. And we also put together a live vaudeville show with all kinds of fun performers.
From the Model T Ford parked below the marquee to the vintage costumes worn by gala goers, the Regent for a night was transformed into a time capsule of a golden past. But more than just costumes and props, Stein honored the theater's 100-year-old debut by putting together a program that looked a lot like what an audience would have experienced all those years ago.
We've got the Airborne comedians who are an incredible juggling duo and very funny. They love to throw things at each other, and it works incredibly well. Alex the Jester, who plays Renaissance wind instruments in ways that you can't imagine, and Busty Keaton from Rogue Burlesque doing a good old-fashioned burlesque dance. And we've got the fabulous Ryan P. Casey and dancers straight from the Legacy Dance Company, which is the resident dance company here in the Regent Underground. And Groucho, you know, just because I can't forget Groucho is also going to be on
It's
the
certainly
scene.
wonderful to be here with Leland Stein. Stein and Stavros, yes, Greek and a Jew.
Lest
Don't
I
forget.
forget.
Yes, yes.
We've got Chloe Wellier, who's going to be walking on champagne bottles.
Yes, I saw her. The woman, first she drinks it, then she walks on it.
And a lively mix of people came to revel in the celebration.
Huge mix. There's people like me that bowled here, went here to see 25-cent movies 50 years ago, and also younger people who realize what an important part of this town is, and everybody in between has been part of the great variety of things they do here.
The night's main event lit the stage just after 8 p.m. It was Mary Pickford's Rags, which was digitally remastered specifically for the Regent, compliments of the Mary Pickford Society. It all added to the novelty and excitement that surrounds the Regent, despite the fact that so many theaters like it don't exist anymore.
Theaters like this have been closing down for the last 15, 20 years, so it's a novelty that a theater like this is still around. And it's become, I would say, the economic engine of Arlington Center. If you notice all the restaurants here and all specialty restaurants, because we don't specialize in any type of entertainment, we do it all.
And maybe the biggest honor for the theater came with the town officially proclaiming April 24th as Regent Theater Day in Arlington, along with the resolution of acknowledgement from both chambers of the state legislature. And with a happy Regent Theater Day to all, I'm Rudy Anna reporting for Arlington Public News.
Well, as you see, I was there, and I have to say it was such a lovely event.
Yeah, I loved watching that piece. I mean, that looked like so much fun, and it's really great that the region would be celebrated in that way. It's such a
And
treasure.
they should be. They should be.
Yeah, absolutely.
When we come back, teenagers get a chance to display their artwork in town.
And Japanese exchange students immerse themselves in American culture in a sister city relationship with Arlington. Stay with us.
Hey guys,
Oh, hey Studio Night.
want to do something cool? Make TV with ACMi Studio Nights.
I don't think we have time to make TV.
That sounds hard.
You have time to watch TV, but not to make TV?
Well,
Join ACMi Studio Nights to make TV with new friends, Wednesdays from 7 to 9 p.m. and get this tiny flashlight, unless you're scared.
I'm not scared. You know we can still see you, right?
No, you can't.
Pretty sure we still can.
Do you have what it takes to ride with the Studio Nights? Of course you do. Join us next Wednesday.
Welcome back to Arlington Public News. Students from Japan are getting to know Arlington better. A group of teens from Nagaokakyo, Japan, have immersed themselves in the culture here, continuing with a 32-year-long sister city relationship. The official exchange also has Arlington students and adults visiting Nagaokakyo each summer. The Japanese students with their chaperones recently came by our studio here at Arlington Community Media to see local television in action. APN caught up with them and has this report.
Arlington and Nagaokakyo, Japan have been sister cities since the relationship was first established in 1984. That means that every year, Nagaokakyo students and adults come to visit Arlington and tour the surrounding Boston area. We caught up with them when they came to visit the studio here at ACMi. So what have you and the students seen and done so far?
We've done a lot of things. The students, they first met their host families and just tried to kind of get used to being in the United States. But we've been to the State House and we've walked the Freedom Trail. We had a public performance in the Boston Commons at the Japanese Festival, which was really, really awesome. We went to the Red Sox game last night against the Braves, and they had an absolute blast for that. The Red Sox won, and they loved that. Also, we went to Eagles Deli in Brighton, and they had, we ordered one challenge burger and split it between them all, but it was something they've never seen before, and they really enjoyed that as well. We also went to the Arlington public meetings, and we have been kind of touring through Pierce Elementary School, Ottoson Middle School, and Arlington High School, shadowing students and just trying to figure out what a daily life for an American student is, and kind of the differences between that and Japan.
I think this program has a very good point, two good points. One is students can visit the school, and the other point is the students can stay at host families' places. So that means the students can see real America from inside, not from the window on the bus or something.
group from Arlington is looking forward to visiting Nagakakyo for a week in July. For Arlington Public News, I'm Katie Chang.
That was an adorable clip.
Absolutely. I mean, I remember the afternoon they came in, late in the afternoon, the infusion of energy. I thought that piece captured it perfectly.
Did they get to do anything? I mean, did they actually do any actual filming?
Yeah, they did, and actually you can find that on at ACMi.tv. You can go there and you know, get a further behind the scenes glimpse.
And watch them having some more fun. That was adorable. It really
Terrific.
was.
The Arlington International Film Festival has a new poster for its 2016 event. The winning poster was revealed during a reception at the Arlington Center for the Arts at the end of April, which I had the honor of emceeing on behalf of ACMi. Film festival organizers worked exclusively with the Mount Ida College Graphic Arts Department in search of a creative vision that expresses the multicultural nature of the film festival. APN spoke with the Mount Ida professor involved in the contest, who is thankful for the experience.
The Arlington International Film Festival has long used students to get involved, hopefully, maybe see some movies, get involved in the arts. Last year, we talked about perhaps moving it up a notch as the AIFF expanded, like to Kendall Square, and just trying to test new boundaries for them as they grew. And Alberto and April suggested we try it with Mount Ida College, and I got a pretty good response. It's a small school, but it's very, very diverse.
The winner of the contest will receive a $500 award and have their design featured on all materials promoting the festival. The Arlington International Film Festival is set for next October at the Capitol Theater in East Arlington.
Arlington Public Art, a town committee that tries to foster a sense of community through public art, has a new exhibit on light poles around town. Teens ranging in age from 12 to 18 are getting a chance at having their artwork displayed, thanks to the support of the family of the late Gracie James, a teenager who loved art. Here's more.
Arlington Public Art recently hosted a teen banner initiative that allowed teens throughout the city to submit their art pieces in hopes that they would be displayed throughout Arlington. We spoke with Ardria Arch to learn a little bit more about the initiative as well as Arlington Public Art.
The Arlington Youth Banner Initiative is a program that began about 2 years ago. It grew out of Cheerful Where You Sit. And so because of that, a family came to me to say that they would love to do something like this in honor of their child, a teenager who was a student at Arlington High School a couple of years ago, who had recently tragically been killed in an accident out west, in memory of her. And they said to me that her name was Gracie James, would have loved Cheerful Where You Sit. And they were really interested in doing something like this in memory of their daughter, and also to give other children in the town another place to express their artistic and poetic sensibilities. They're up and down Mass Ave. There's 10 in East Arlington, 10 in Arlington Center, and 10 near the Heights. This is our very first year. We actually hired a coordinator, Martina Tanga, who's been taking care of all this administrative effort, which is considerable. So the first step is to really go see the schools in town. So Ottoson and Arlington High and Arlington Catholic and some of the other schools that have teenagers, and say, hey, we're doing a competition. The theme, this year's theme was nature. We had 90 participants. There were several jurors, some of which were a part of our group, and we chose 30. And we are going to have a reception for everybody who participated, and to honor not just the students who had their work on display, but also the teachers and the administrators who were involved and helped us make all this happen.
The reception will be held on May 20th from 6 to 8 p.m. in the Town Hall entranceway. On behalf of Adria Arch and Arlington Public Art, my name is Stephanie Francis, and this is Arlington Public News.
You know, I really think that public art is one of those intangibles that it raises the quality of life in a community.
It absolutely does, and I think the kids must be so proud to see their work displayed on the banners all the way through town. And Adria has done such a wonderful job with this. She's really been such a driving force in the arts here.
It's a great initiative.
It is.
Next up, we have some things for you to do during the month of May in Arlington. from a bike tour to the launch of a Friday TED Talk screening series at Robbins Library. We have the details in our arts and entertainment calendar.
Beginning May 10th in the Ed Burns Arena and Skating Rink is Walk the Rink, a great opportunity for Arlington residents of all ages to gain some indoor walking exercise. Sponsored by the Council of Aging, this event runs every Tuesday from 9:30 to 11 a.m. from the 10th through June 16th. That same day, the Diversity Task Group of Arlington Vision 2020 invites Arlington residents to witness Stories of Stigma, a live performance brought to life by True Story Theater about the hardships of stigmatization in the lives of others as well as our own. Come see this free, thought-provoking showcase from 7 to 8:45 p.m. in the Robbins Library Community Room, where people of all backgrounds are encouraged to attend. If you're interested in participating in a fun and rewarding community effort, then be sure to stop by Spy Pond Park on May 14th for the 12th Annual Spy Pond Trails Day. From 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., Arlington residents will gather to contribute to the upkeep of the park by pruning vistas, bagging litter, controlling invasive plants, and anything else to improve the scenery and atmosphere of one of Arlington's favorite hangout spots. Snacks and equipment will be provided. On Sunday, May 15th, is Arlington's annual Bike Arlington Tour, a fun, easy-paced bicycle tour around the town in celebration of Bay State Bike Week. From the Minuteman Bikeway to the new bike lanes on Mass Ave in East Arlington, join the town and its most passionate bike riders as they navigate through many of its most recognizable landmarks. The tour begins at 9:30 a.m. in Arlington Center and concludes at the Regent Theater by noontime. And lastly, on May 27th in the Robbins Library Community Room is the launch of a new Friday TED Talk series. Watch as 2 or 3 TED Talks are screened, and take part in the engaging conversation among those in attendance shortly afterwards. The event is held from 12 to 1 p.m. and is set to continue throughout the months of June and July. With your May Arts and Entertainment calendar, I'm Michael Lang, Arlington Public News.
Anime Boston is a 3-day convention focused on Japanese animation, comics, and pop culture. The New England Anime Society held its annual event at the end of April in Boston, where the Arlington resident and APN producer Julia Bloom went to find out just what has people so interested in Japanese animation.
Hi, my name is Julia Bloom. I'm at Anime Boston. Anime Boston is a fan Japanese and culture convention that's held every spring in Boston. And I really enjoy it because I get to talk to my friends, meet new people, and see what their costumes are, and also wear costumes, as you can see. So I'll be taking you around today and showing you Anime Boston and what it's like, and also how much fun it can be. Who are you two dressed up as today?
Super Sailor Moon.
Tuxedo Mask.
And you're both from the same series, great. I see you have a lot of detail on your costume. What did you make all of these different parts out of, and how long did it take you?
It took me about 6 months to do all together. This is just some vinyl sandwiched between some fabrics. The gloves, I think I bought the gloves because they're a pain to make. Stuffed these, made this out of 3 different layers of fabric. I made these out of resin, painted them, and made this out of clay.
Okay, and what about you?
I actually didn't have enough time before the convention to remake the whole thing, so I had to buy the tuxedo all from, I don't remember online, but I had to buy it offline. And then she made the cape for me, and we made the mask out of craft foam and Wonderflex.
So this room here is Artist Alley. You can buy all kinds of art and also check out local webcomic artists, as well as buy everything from jewelry to t-shirts here. We have a lot of talented artists, all have it with their pictures, and you can also get pictures commissioned, meaning they will draw something just the way you like it.
I got into reviewing anime originally just kind of as a fluke. I'd seen Yahtzee, I'd seen The Nostalgia Critic, I'd seen Angry Video Game Nerd, and I was just like, well, gee, there's nobody who's doing that for anime right now, is there? Now, this is back in 2008, late 2008, early 2009, and I'm like, all right, sure, let's try it. So I threw up some videos on YouTube. I started cycling through just some stuff that I had wanted to talk about. I was like, hey, this is working out pretty well.
So how are you liking Anime Boston so far?
It's great. I love this joint. It's a lot better. I'm from the Midwest, so I go to a lot of cons out there. but this is super fun. Like, it's just, this is on a scale that I haven't been to a convention at in a long time, so it's nice to just be in this huge space with all these creative people and all this industry stuff that I don't get to see a lot, because it starts on the West Coast, or it starts on the East Coast, and then trickles its way into the Midwest.
This room here is the games room. You can come here and play all the video games you want, and some you never heard of, including a game called Table Flip, where you literally flip a table and see how many people you can hit with glassware and other things on it. There are all kinds of fighting games here, and any other kind of game you can imagine. So that is all we have time for here at Anime Boston. In closing, I'd like to ask you guys, who's ever watching, to come to this amazing convention. I'm sure you'll have a lot of fun. This is Julia Bloom. Thank you for coming.
I'll tell you, Julia, she gets to have all the fun, doesn't she?
She does, but what character do you want to be?
I couldn't recognize any of them,
Wonder
unfortunately.
Woman.
Thank you for joining us this week to explore local events and issues affecting Arlington. Check out extended interviews and our latest segments on the web at news.acmi.tv.
And don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at Arlington Public.
Please join us next time for another edition of Arlington Public News. I'm James Milan.
And I'm Carla Dorado. See you then.